I'll take any applause I can get. All right, so I'm gonna check out a branch. And one thing I want to do is be a little smart about the migrations and stuff, because we have to create our migrations, and I don't want to have to go back and forth and figure out like what columns I need. I need a new column, add a new migration. We have all the tests, so we're just going to look at all the tests and figure out what fields it needs. So any day now. Cool, so in the specs for the models, I'm just gonna look in here and see what fields we're expecting the like artist and song to have. So it looks like everything has a name field, so genres, songs, and artists all have names. And then we're assigning an artist to a song, which means that a song belongs to an artist. That's what we can kind of infer from this, that there's going to be an artist ID on this class. Then there's going to be a song genre class that has like song IDs and genre IDs. So that's going to be our join table for songs and genres. And it looks like the rest is all associations, with the exception of this slug. So all of them have a slug. And I'm going to do it by having an actual column in the database called slug that I store when we save to make looking and finding by slug easier. I don't know I know some of you guys actually did not save the slug, but had just a method that returned the slug, and then you would like take the name and then create the slug and then find it by that. But that seems crazy to me. So I'm going to not do that and instead actually store the slug. We're going to do something interesting. We're going to make it so that whenever anyone writes to the name property, it generates the slug. So we'll have that kind of like, we'll have to figure out how to hook into that, because that's when we change the slug, right? If someone loads it from the database and then changes the name, then the slug should update, right? Kind of automatically. So we'll figure out how to do that. Cool. So that's artist. Let me see. Again, all we have so far is that everything has a name. There's this song genre class that has genre ID and song ID. The song belongs to an artist, and yeah, nothing new. This one has a slug as well. And okay, does that look right? That sound right? To people who got this far to the models, those are the columns that we need. Everything has a name. Song has an artist ID. Brilliant, notes. Okay, so these are the notes I took earlier. Same thing. Everything has a name and a slug. Songs have an artist ID. Artists have a name and slug. A genre has a name and slug. And the song genre has a song ID and genre ID. So let's go make a bunch of files. We'll make them in the terminal because I type faster in the terminal than I do in DOM editor. So I'll do this and say touch 001, create songs.rb. Okay, not much faster. 002, what the hell? Okay, maybe slower. Artists, 003, create genres. Yeah. And no, thank you. I will forget things. And then we'll say song genres. Cool. So these are the 4 migrations that we have to make to create the tables. And based on the notes that we took, these notes here, we're going to make the migrations that match these columns. I'll say this kind of like, you may have noticed this, but in lab reviews, I tend to kind of like program and talk out loud. So if you have a question, just kind of yell it out. You have to break my bubble. Otherwise, I won't know that you're weeping in a corner or something. You have to let me know. Weep hard is what I'm saying. Just thrash a little if you have to. Cool. So let me just copy this for like my notes. And create songs is going to have this class of create songs, inherits from active record migration. Have a method called change. Takes no arguments. This is what we're going for. Right? This thing here. So we're going to do what? Create table. Songs. Do t. Let's say t dot string name t dot slug, t dot string slug, and t dot references or belongs to or integer artist. We'll say index true, so that it makes it all fast for lookups. This last thing, the index true, is just a habit of mine. If we have like a foreign key, I'd usually make an index for it right away. Because typically, if we look up a song, we're probably going to want to know who the artist is, like 99, if not all the time, right? We're always going to want to know who's this song's artist. Okay, so that's fine for this one. All done. We'll copy pasta. Second one is this. Create artists. Artists and artists are boring. They just have a slug. And genres are also kind of boring. Genres, name slug. Is that right? Name slug, name slug. Song is interesting. Song genre, also kind of boring. So I'll copy this. I'm going too fast also, let me know. With your words, I can't. That sound. Either someone is eating delicious soup or something happened. Say again? Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's probably a mistake. Thank you. Song genres. We'll say that a song genre references a song and a genre. Now there's giggling. Now I'm really scared. Why are you guys giggling? What happened?
Is there, there's something like T dot belongs to
Yep.
this column? That's sort of what the references is doing?
Yeah, references and belongs to is the same exact method. So T dot belongs to, they literally, like, I think the code to references just, this is a method in Ruby called alias. You can like alias one method to another one. Like, it's either alias references to belongs to or reference belongs to your It's the same exact code. Like, Ruby just forwards the message on. Do nothing different.
And that index thing?
Yeah, so that's so we can make lookups faster. So if you can imagine a database table with like 1,000 rows, 1,000's not a lot, 100,000 rows, that's a good amount of rows. Right? If you do a find by anything, like if you do find by, if you do find by ID, right? The way that databases work, if you don't give it any other optimizations, it checks the first row. It's like, are you the thing? No. Are you the thing? No. Because they're not sorted, right? Like you got to imagine that row 7 comes after row 6, right? So there's like no, if you don't put any order to it, then it won't be able to optimize or find it quickly. When you add an index, it makes like a separate table that takes the column that you're indexing and then makes it really fast to look up. So it basically takes that, sorts it, and then makes it easy to find. It uses that binary search thing that we talked about where it's like if I'm looking for a number, I'm looking for something with an ID of 7, right? I'm looking for an ID of 7, then I say, okay, well, from the middle of the tree, what are you? Well, I'm 50. Okay, well, screw everything to the right, cut that, and then I'm 25. Okay, well, screw everything to the right, okay, I'm like 7. Oh, you're perfect. Right, so it cuts down the lookup. So you can have a huge table, and you're only going to get like the lookup will always be super fast because you're always cutting it in half, like 1,000,000, 500,000, 250,000, and it goes like half and half and half and half, as opposed to going to like worst case scenario. What you're looking for is the last thing in the database table, and you just check 100,000 rows, right? So an index is that. An index is like a separate table that all databases can make for you. That's like all it does is sort the thing that you're looking for. Right, so if I say find like index on genre IDs, it's going to sort the genre IDs, and then say if someone looks up for the genre ID, look it up in this table, and then it'll have the ID. And then it'll be like, you're ID number 12, and then it looks for ID number 12. So it's like, yeah. What was that?
Makes it really good at finding that.
Yeah. So if we ever are going to do like a find by something, right, we should have an index. So if we ever do find by anything, what should we do with slug? We should probably put an index on it, right? Like the idea of an index is that like it's going to make lookups really fast. I'll say this quickly because we actually got to kind of have to cook a little bit, but your brains might be saying, well, why not make an index for everything, right? Like fast is better. This is fast, then better, right? Why not just index everything? There's something that happens where like imagine there are a bunch of slugs and they're all sorted in alphabetical order, right? And then like you add a slug of like Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift has to go like right here, right? You actually have to like push everything down. You have to generate the list again to sort it. So you have to like resort everything and then like properly place Taylor Swift in your tree, right? So there's a cost to adding something to an index table. So you don't want to index everything, just the things you look up a lot, because then there's what's called insertion cost, right? Because you have to then take the tree and kind of like redo it like every time. Like we're adding something new, redo. We have a new slug, redo it. We removed one, redo it. So it's good for looking up, but it's expensive on the other side. Right? Hope one of you gets that on an interview question, you crush it. That's my goal. Index true. So that's an index true. Say index true. And then on slug, since we do find by index true. We started late, so I am recording this, and if we go over 6 o'clock, like I won't be offended if you leave. Like I promise, I have you here till 6. You have lives, so go and watch the video. I won't be offended. A little bit, heartbroken more than offended, if anything. Cool. So that looks like it's okay. We have all of the files. Let's do a little rake db migrate. It's gonna give me this bundle exec nonsense. And so some people were kind of like, why do you have to do this? If you don't, you can have multiple versions of executables on your computer, as you know, right? You can have like, some of the tests use like an older version of RSpec, some of them use an older version of rake, for instance. And if the version that you have when you type in which rake is the same version that is gonna get run in this test, that's concerning that didn't run anything, is the same version that like is in your global Ruby, then you don't have to do bundle exec because you're running the latest, your code is running the latest, like you don't have to specify bundle exec because you're running the latest version. But if for some reason you're using rake version 10.0 and you have rake version 11 as your like global rake, then it's like, okay, just because of the way software works, there might be incompatibilities with like what you're meaning to run. So run bundle exec, and then when you say rake, we'll run the one that you have in your gem file. This is sort of, if we see this, I don't like it because it means that some of the gems have like gotten old, right? Because it means that I should be able to just say like rake or RSpec or rake db migrate or whatever and be fine. But it means that some of the gems have gotten old. I tried to do a bundle update, which updates everything, and it broke everything. So it's not that easy. You have to go back and do this properly. So for the rest of the lab review, we'll have to do bundle exec. And I ran this. Oh, I think I know why. Let me do this. So I think I have. There we go. I think I have the databases. That's why it kind of blew up on me. Ready to migrate, we should see some stuff. Yep. And then I'll also do it for the sinatra env. Sinatra env equals test, so that it also runs a database for the test environment. So now that's all migrated and good to go. Let's do some programming. We'll start out by making a bunch of the models, the plain models, and then we'll run the test. I just don't want to get the undefined constant, whatever. So app models song.rb, app models song genres, genre.rb, app models genre.rb, and app models artist.rb. Cool. Class action. I'm not going to do associations yet. We'll have a good time with those in a bit. Genre. Song and song genre. Okay, now we can run the tests. So I'm going to do bundle exec, RSpec, but I'm actually going to run the model tests first, like by themselves, because the model tests are kind of like they have to happen before the controller test, but the way that RSpec runs tests is it's going to run them in alphabetical order, starting at the folders. So like controllers comes before models. All right, so I actually want to specify run RSpec, run the spec directory, just the ones in models first. And this will just run the ones in the models directory. You see, no controller tests. Cool. Now we can run fail fast and not feel so bad about ourselves, because that's a lot of red. Cool. So then it says unknown attribute artist for song. And this has to do because we have to have our association set up. So we'll set up the ones that we know, so we'll set them up as we go. Our artist has many songs. And our song, since it has the foreign key of the artist, belongs to artist. So this should get us a few tests. Freebies, 4 examples, 1 failure. Not bad. And then we have to talk about genres. So artists have genres. So an artist and a genre, if we look at the schema, are not connected directly. So an artist has a name, a genre has a name, there's no connection. There's no artist genres table. So we actually have to go through the song model to get to genres. But this one's not set up either. So let's actually wire up the song first. So say a song has many song genres. There's something about this that makes me angry, but I've been angry enough all day. I'm going to store my anger. And has many genres through song genres, right? So this gets us from a song to a genre, and then we can jump from the artist and say, well, an artist has many songs, which means that an artist has many genres if you go through that song. And this is flat out magical. Like Active Record is amazing that it can do this. I type this in and I never believe it's going to work. Because I'm like, if it works, that's kind of cool. But by having the song, by having a reference to a song, so we say like it has many songs, and then if you go through that song and you check the song's genres, a property that we defined right here, through some table, so we're already going through one table to another one, you can find the genres for this artist. I think that's kind of magical. I think if it worked, oh God. Oh no. There's my class name for ill. Where's that genres count? What was that?
It'd be nice.
Hold on. Let me check. Let me commit this. I'm gonna cheat. So an artist has many genres through songs. That's right. And a song has many genres through songs. Yeah, that should work. Did that earlier. Odd. All right, we'll check it out. Check out live. So has many genres through song genres. Has many artists. Has many genres through songs. Let's finish doing. Let's wire everything up. So our genre. What's the relationship for a genre? Like how is a genre connected to the world? Right. Yeah. So it has many song genres. We know that, and then we have. Yeah. So it has many songs through song genres. Nope. Did that already. That's so weird. Derived class name. So, what am I missing? I can actually run this test by itself. So 0, 1, and we'll run it completely. Okay, can't slugify its name. Given the slug, can't find artist. I don't know how the hell I'm passing that test. What was that? Oh, right. Yeah, has many. Well, I don't need to. We don't have to complete it from this end. So say has many songs. So it has many genres through songs. An artist does not have genres. You may be correct. This Right there. There you go. It's like, what is missing? Song, genre, magic. Magic. It worked. Awesome. Just
So I have a question.
yes. Yeah, I have. Me
Like
too.
a source thing,
Uh-huh.
where you did like
Yeah.
something has.
Yeah. This way's better.
This way's better.
But I feel like we had this.
Yeah. So that's I was kind of confused, but I was expecting a different kind of error. We got this like class name thing that was trying to figure out what class to call. I'm guessing that when it got this far. It went to the point where it was like, okay, artist. It got to songs, and then it tried to go through songs, through song genres, and then it couldn't figure out like how to make the next step, how to make the next jump, because there was no genre there. Yeah, like I said, I'll be completely honest. Like I'd sometimes just type things, and like I'm like, yeah, the active record will figure it out. And this is one of those cases where if I went and did all my associations, it's like, yeah, of course I've got methods for genre because active record is magic, which is terrifying, but also really cool, right? The terrifying part. You should be scared. You should be a little afraid. All right, cool. So let's talk about slugs. What did you guys do for slug? Create a module. What kind of code you got in the module?
Module slug, and then I had module class and inside.
Okay, and then what was in like the method? Like, how did you make the? Did anybody store the slug in the database? I'm just curious. Okay, so just like a property on the fly, right? So like from the name, you derive the slug. How'd you do find by? Like find by slug.
I just sort of put it back the way I put it.
You like rebuilt it backwards. You're like, well, you're.
It's really ugly
Okay.
when it works. Does it work? It doesn't work eventually. Oh, well, I'm not there yet.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna try it my way, and along the way we're gonna talk about. We're gonna write some code that looks a little weird, but works. It just looks a little weird. So really, what we want to say is like, whenever someone calls name equals, we want to like hook into the process of like setting the slug column. Remember, my code has like a slug column. So we'll do like new name. And I hear you saying, but Steven, you said never, ever, 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 ever write an adder accessor in active record. And you are correct. So we're going to give active record its due and call super, meaning like do what you normally do with this. Like when someone calls name equals, do the active record thing. I'm not trying to mess with your stuff. I'm not trying to mess with your flow. Active record, you do things. And I want you to do that. But when you're done, what I want you to do is call some method called like update slug. And update slug will be a private method that all it does is take self.name and it calls like .downcase, .split. Let's write some cool code. Screw all this downcase stuff. Actually, it might come out to the same thing. I just like using the scan method. So scan, regular expression, W plus, dot join with a dash. And we're going to set this to be self.slug. I don't know if you guys remember, but scan is my favorite method in Ruby. In all of Ruby. Scan method. I love it. This will take a string and then identify each thing that matches the pattern. So every time there's like a contiguous set of letters, it'll like group those together in an array, and then you just join it with a dash in the middle. And maybe this will work. Maybe. Oh, nah. So why am I specifying self? So in this one, I don't have to, because the implicit receiver is going to be self. But unfortunately for this one, I have to, because if I just do this, Ruby will see that as an assignment of a local variable. But if I do this, self.slug, and then leave this one looking all weird, then I don't know, it's out of balance in my head. It looks ugly. So I'm going to go against my better wisdom and use self in both places. I hate using self, but like for the sake of clarity or consistency. That's always bugged me about Ruby. But anyway, let's see if we got a slug. If we got a slug, we'll do the slugs for the rest of them. Oh, we have to actually downcase. Blast. Oh, that's right. What was that? Yeah. This is actually not great because now I got tons of methods, but I like using scan, so I'm gonna keep it. I don't care. It's my code. I can do whatever the hell I want. So I'm actually gonna do this. So I got this rule from a really good friend of mine, developer. Repeat things 3 times, and if by the third time you kind of understand it and you can try to refactor it out. This is literally the same exact code 3 times, and it kind of finishes up the model tests and gets us into well, almost out of the model tests. So let's take a minute and like refactor this out. So I'm gonna make we'll make a concerns directory, and we'll call it. Is that even right? 2 F's. Well, sluggifiable is not a real word anyway. Is that it?
I like slug.
Slug it. Slug.
That's my difference.
Sluggify. All right. Anyway, that works, right? Sluggable. Very sluggable face. All right. One thing we have to do is what? Like, is this going to get loaded by the environment? Probably. Oh yeah, because it's using require all. All right. Require all is this gem that requires everything. It requires all the things. In case you missed that by the
Is
name.
that going to be Rails?
Huh? Rails is actually it has all that stuff handled. Like it'll read all your files for you, all of them. But this actually gives us an interesting sort of thing. Like whenever we're defining a module, we have to figure out like what we want to do with like how we want to interface with it. So for instance, I'm thinking like add slug for name is kind of like the method that I want to have available in my class when I say like extend sluggable. Why am I extending instead of including? Anybody know? Yeah, because this is going to be a self.add slug name for. And so I didn't do, when I practiced this, I actually didn't extract it out. And now my brain is seeing what I have to do, and it's going to involve a little bit of metaprogramming. So brace yourselves. Remember, release yourselves. If you're getting sleepy, stand up. Jumping jacks are okay. We got a big space over here for push-ups. You got to stay up. So if this works, in order for this to work, we'll have to have a class method that's called add slug for, and then for it, we're going to have to take this name property, dynamically create a setter method that calls super, and then calls this update slug method. Basically, all of this stuff, but we have to make it dynamic and metaprogramming, which is exciting / terrifying. So let's see how far we can get. What's the first? Let's actually just focus on the artist spec. Oh god. Oh no. Add slug for song. Cool. So as it was reading the. Let me do this. I'm going to work on the song on the artist spec first, on the artist class first. We're going to get the same exact error, which is fine. It says unknown method add slug for artist. So in the sluggable module, we'll say def add slug for, and we'll say like field, which is like the thing we're adding a slug for. We shouldn't get the error anymore, and nothing bad should happen. This test should still be passing. And what I want to do here is I'm going to copy paste all of this code. It's going to be mad dynamic. So much dynamism. That's the word, right? Dynamism. Cool. So then I'll say, yes.
I'm sorry, those 2 methods are nested under the big method?
Yeah. So basically, by calling this method, you will define other methods, right? Because this is what we mean by like making this sluggable. So somebody has to call this method, otherwise they won't exist, right?
What's the field?
In my case, I made it. It's going to be the field that we're creating the slug based on, right? So in this case, we have like the name is going to be the thing we have. So I could have hard coded it and just had like name, but I think it's more realistic to see add slug for name. Let me close on some of these. We'll come back to like a lot of these when we get the module all set up. But right now, what I want to do is, instead of using def, I'm going to use define method. Right? This is the one that is, those two pieces of code will do the same exact thing. The only benefit is that I can now use this like string interpolation. And I can say, make this a string, and interpolate field. So if you pass me a name, I'm going to say, make a method called name equals. So like new value. And what that method's going to do is it's going to call super, and then it's going to call the update slug method. Now update slug is going to be dynamic. Update slug is going to be dynamic up until this point, where we say like the message we send is self dot whatever the field is. Right? It's not going to be self dot name all the time. It's going to be self whatever the field is. Yeah, well, a little bit different. We have to do, so let's see, let's say, we'll say like, source field value equals self dot field. Right, so what we're saying is like, call the method that is the source field. Right, so in this case, it's going to be whatever the value of name is. And then we'll use source field value, which will be a string, downcase join, self slug. And then maybe this will work. Maybe the test should still pass because it's oh god, unless it's a syntax error. New value. Oh, right. So when we use define method, we don't do it this way. You remember how you do it with define method? You use a block variable instead. So the syntax changes a little bit. And then also this equal sign exists inside of the string. All right, so the name of the method is whatever the field is equals, do, and maybe this works. What was that? I have it here. So I'm replacing like the first line of a def. So the end was already there. Oh my god. No syntax errors, please. Okay, so don't get excited yet. Don't get excited yet. We get excited now when I comment all this shit out. And that works. What? No. You're killing the suspense, man. Oh no. Implicit argument passing of super from method defined by what?
You can't do that.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that. Implicit argument passing of super from what the fuck? Yeah, let's do self dot send. You're not gonna stop me, Ruby. We're gonna do this, whether you like it or not. Public send super. What now? Yeah, so there's send and there's public send. So send will let you send the message to any method, private or public. Public send is more polite. It only sends it to public methods. If you try to call a private method, it'll say, hey, that's a private method. Because typically they don't want you calling private methods. I have no idea what the hell that means. Implicit argument passing of super from method. Oh, I see. Okay. No. So there's this thing. Let me actually, before I say anything, because words could be totally wrong. New value. Let's try that. Damn it. Wait, it could be different. Not all errors are the same. Brilliant. Okay, excellent. So we got past it. So what it was saying is that, so if you call super, we didn't really talk about this because super is not super used. So if you call super with no arguments, then what it'll do is it'll call the method, like its super method, with all the arguments that are passed in. It's kind of like if you passed in 10 arguments and you just call super, it's going to call super with 10 arguments. It was saying that I was using that implicitness of it and saying, just take whatever was passed in. So I had to be explicit and say, I'm getting new value, pass in new value to super. So in the normal world, this I just called super, and it took the new name and passed it to active record. But in defined method, you can't. So it says undefined method update slug for artist. What you talking about, Willis? It's right there. Let's try. Let's just mess around, guys. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we define method, and then we say update slug defend method. Also say,
I mean, we haven't included our module with all the extension, right?
yeah. So we are. That's fine. So the act of extending it and calling this method defines the methods that we're going to call. So like, what we did is it's two things, right? So this is adding the code, and then this is calling this class method, which defines methods for us. I'm not sure.
I'm sorry. It's a class. This is a class method?
Yes, right? Because who's the receiver here? Who is self here? The class or an instance?
It's the class.
Yeah. So we have to add the one that's going to respond to this message is the class,
Okay.
right?
But in you go back to like, well,
I'm afraid to.
is it not? So here we don't have to write self update.
No. So here, when we define a method, right? When we define a Ruby method,
I meant like Olaf. Like it just knows that.
yeah, because it's inside of a method. So inside of a method, who is self? If it's not a class method, it's an instance method, right? Like those are the only two kind of methods that Ruby supports. So these are instance methods. It means that when those methods get called, self will be the instance.
So if you were defining update slug in artist,
Uh-huh.
right, not in module, you
Yeah.
would have had before when you had this def, wouldn't you have had to write def self update slug?
No. So that.
No, under private.
Oh, you mean
You
here?
just had def update slug.
No, update slug is an instance method. It's a private instance method.
Update slug is an instance.
Yeah, update slug has, yeah, look at it here. So like we still have it here, it's just commented out.
Okay.
Right, so it's always an instance method.
I don't understand the app slug form. Is that like from the table basically, or where
So-
is that from?
So that's this method here that I define in the module. So by including the module, I added this class method, and then it's like make a slug field for this thing, right? Unfortunately, it only supports one slug field. It's like the slug field, but you know, not bad. Cool. And if you were paying attention, that passes, terrifyingly so. You can look at this code later. I will be looking at this code later because I'm not sure how it works exactly. What I'm most curious about is how def is different than define method in this case. I'm not exactly sure. I imagine they would have done the same thing, but I guess no. Oh no. I know why. I think I know why. I think did that try to define a method on the? I think the def might have created a method on the module, which is getting mixed in. Yeah, I gotta think about that. But anyway, this works. So
So does active record create the find by slug method?
I think it might. They're trying to get rid of those finders, so I'm not sure if it's still in it. But if active record creates any of them, find by _ slug, then yeah, it's made it for us. They're called dynamic finders, and the reason they wanted to get rid of them is because they're slow. It's like for every method, you then have to like dynamically make new methods, which is kind of annoying. Okay, those all work. And let's see, models. Oh my god. That's fine, it's fine. Undefined method artist for genres. I think I ignored what one of you guys said earlier. So a genre has many artists through songs. God, come on.
Does that be plural, the artists?
Yeah, it does. Man, I don't know how you guys deal with all this red. Oh, this is genre. What was that? Oh, okay. Relay. Cool. Yes.
This add slug for the fact that it's just like in there, that means it automatically happens.
Yeah. So when I call this method, it runs all of this code, which defines more methods. So like the act of calling this method defines methods in the class.
And you call that. When did you call it? That just putting it in there.
Yeah.
Call it?
It's calling the method. Yeah.
That's like part of initializing the class.
Yeah. As it's loading, it's adding that method, then it finishes. Cool. Okay. So I actually want to take a quick second. I'm going to commit this. Okay, commit all the things working, but how? And I want to seed some data because like we're going to work on the web part next, and the web part is miserable without data. I noticed this late. I don't know if it's in the README, but who reads READMEs, right, guys? Come on. I don't. So is this in the README that they say the library parser is loaded and stuff?
Yeah, but they say you have to tweak it.
Oh,
And
that's
they say you're gonna make it
That's ridiculous. All right, well let's make it work. Those are all things.
There's another reason.
Yeah. No, I'm sure the rest of them are just like suggestions of stuff. So this one has you call library parser.parse and it does all this stuff. So let's just try that. .parse, and at some point parsed calls call, which iterates over each of the files. And files is a list of all the files there in data. And then parses the file and then builds objects. I'm going to trust that all of that works. I'm guessing that the problem is going to be here. So they say find or create by. So I'm going to do this. We say like, I don't know why they create the song oh, I guess the song will always be unique. That makes sense. The genre might not be. So you can see where instead of here and say dot first or create. And that's, I think, the new way to do it. You say where name is artist name, first or create. We'll say song genre is built genre, song.artist equals that, song.save. And I think that should work. Maybe. Let's see. Break DB, migrate. Oh no. Bundle. Not break DB migrate, break DB seed. Oh god, that's terrible. No superclass method. Yeah, there is. It's right there. That's weird. Okay, so for some reason it doesn't like genre. I'm gonna try to set name equals to that in the genre. That's not nice though. But then I gotta undo my refactoring. All right. What we'll do is like I'll leave this here, because I feel that it's gonna give me a headache later on.
Stephen, why did you change those?
So someone said that we might have to update them, and I see that they were using old syntax. I don't know if they ever got like deprecated and got removed from active record. So to be safe.
So I just was able to see. I didn't recall.
Oh, did that just work?
But I didn't change the
So bizarre. Even without my thing, no superclass method name equals for genre. It's right there. Look at it. What am I missing? All right, now you get to watch me try everything. Let's do DB migrate. DB. That works, and then we'll do seed. What the shit? There's no super method. Super So let's see. It's saying genres first. So let's trace this for a second. So the library parser is going to call a call. It's going to iterate over everything. It seems to be fine with this line of code, but not with this line of code, which is interesting. Yeah, let's try that. Find the crate. So we'll do that. Huh. Fucking programming. Might have found the bug. Which is cool. Yeah, so just rake DBC. What was that?
What'd you put in C?
Just the library parser.parse. All right. Thanks for that. I didn't have to change anything, which is good. Let's just make sure this works. So if we open up the rake file, and we have a console task, I'll say rake console. Of course, so we'll say bundle exec. And if I say like artists.all, it gives me all the artists. So we have artists. Like our database is sort of hooked up. Cool. Excellent. All right, so now we can start working on the next part of the test. So all of our models are passing, which is fantastic. I'm thrilled about that. Let's just do rspec. Okay, so now we're getting a bunch of like the actual failures, like the 200 errors and stuff. So it looks like the feature specs are the ones that are failing. That's fine. And let's do fail fast on these. And I'm going to try to go through these sort of fast because there are some interesting ones towards the end. The first ones are going to be, index, show, find by slug. So I'm going to kind of like breeze through a few of those now. We're going to need 3 controllers. So lay of the land, right? We have the application controller, which has all of our settings and stuff. We have a config.ru file, which just adds the method override middleware, and then has the application controller running as like the final thing. In the end, we're going to have a few routes here. So I'm going to say map. If someone goes to genres, run the genres controller. Someone goes to songs, do the songs controller. And if someone goes to artists, do the artists controller. Now this is all, of course, going to break because these controllers don't exist. So in the terminal, I'm going to touch some files, app controllers, artists controller.rb, songs controller, then we'll say genres controller.rb. So those are the 3 controllers that we have, and I'll close down a bunch of this stuff. Artist controller is going to be a class that inherits from the application controller. So we get all those delicious settings. And it's going to have a couple of routes. So if someone makes a get request to slash, so this is if you remember the wackiness of the map thing, this means that if they just ask for slash artists, run this thing. And the code in here is going to be, I'm going to load a list of all the artists, say artist.all, to load all of the artists, and then I'm going to load some ERB that is in the artists directory in the view .index. I want to show you one of my personal favorite errors, which is the one that fails first. This is in, oh, that's very important. So I actually want to do I want to show you guys an error because I first off wonder how many of you have gotten this error. Songs.all. So I'm going to run this test here, which is going to run the first feature spec, which will give me this wonderful error which says, genres controller. All right, give me one sec. That's not my favorite error. Take it back. Ooh, man, like speed coding. I wonder, like, if I entered a coding competition now, would I be fast? Because doing this job, you learn to code insanely fast. Genres, genre, not well, just fast. I just press buttons really quickly. All right, so this should fail the way I want it to fail. So we wind up getting this yummy failure of undefined method join for string. How many of you have seen this one? Hands up high. I want to see the pain and suffering. I hate it so much. I'm actually show you. It does not mean anything. It has to do with the way like Sinatra is trying to use the return value of this block to pass it off to rack. And then rack eventually, if you look, it says there's something in like rack utils here in URL map, method override. Eventually, like rack utils tries to like parse the exception as a string. It gets crazy, but it's really easy to figure out what's wrong. So it's always this line. It's always this line that is screwing you over and ruining your day. So you can put a binding.pry here. And then if you run the test again, the pry will stop. And you can just, oh no. Did I do it in the wrong thing? Oh, I did it in genres. So don't do it in genres. Do it in the controller that matters. Oh, that's not what I meant. So I said, again, type really fast, just poorly. All right, so we run that code with the binding.pry before the ERB. Notice no errors or anything. And then just copy paste this line. So ERB, what do we think ERB, this thing is going to generate? A string, yes, because the internet's string. It has to return a string. So it's going to give me it gives me an error, right? It gives me an error because I purposely fucked up. Like, there's no such directory as song or songs or anything. But this is the real error, right? This is not the join thing that we've been terrorized by. This is genuinely telling us there's no file not found, right? You can't find the file in your file system, right? So put a binding.pry before the ERB, and then like just call the ERB song index manually, and you'll actually see the error. This will show you template error. So like if you're trying to call a method in a template that doesn't exist, that'll also give you the string error. Like anytime if that return value is messed up, you'll get that awful error. So binding.pry before it, and then call ERB song index. That make sense? Okay, good. This hopefully saved you like hours of troubleshooting nonsense. View time. So we'll make a file called index.erb. Oh no, songs index.erb. While I'm here, I'll make show.erb. Actually, make the rest of them. So we'll fail them and then just like put the ERB as it comes. The big part is the form. So we'll say genres index.erb, genres show.erb, and we'll do new when we get to it. And then what did I say? Artists index.erb. Someone mentioned that this might have been a good drunk lab review, and I'll tell you it wouldn't be. I would just, yeah, I'd be in a bad state for most of this lab review if it was a drunken lab review. Cool, so we should get past the 200s now. And now we're going to get to the next thing, which is it displays a list of songs, which it doesn't. So back to let me close down all these things. If we go to the song controller, we have a variable for @songs. So all we have to do is in the index page, we'll make a list. We'll say @songs.each do song. And we'll say, and I know that they want a link, like a link for it. So we'll just say like a href. This is going to go to songs / song.slug. Song.slug. And this is going to be song.name. But like this. Cool. And this should pass our first test. Oh no. Oh man. What could it be? Yeah. Cool. So we got a little further, right? So now we're in artist, same thing. Oh god, this is gonna be it. This annoyed me last time. So we wind up writing this line of code a bunch, but for different things. So li href song slug. You guys interested in a little more metaprogramming? A little bit? Just a little more? Just a little bit? Okay. You guys are like gluttons for punishment. So what I want to have here is I want to have a method called like I don't know, shitty name, link for song, right? That's the code I wish worked. Right. So the question is like, where do we make helpers for views? Right. We can't define a method in the view, right? That's nasty. I mean, I guess we could, but don't. So what we do is in the Sinatra controller, we can define methods that'll be used in the view in a helper block. If that makes sense, you'll see it. So here's the word helpers. Here's a block. This is the helpers block. Any method you define in here will be available in the views for you to use. Right? So I want to have that item, that thing here, like receive the song and then generate all this stuff for me. This will be a little metaprogramming, but that's all right. You guys are good. Or not, and you're just quiet or terrified. All of those things are acceptable things to be. This is the string I want to wind up with. So we're going to have to do a little meta magic. So let's talk about it. This part has to be dynamic, right? Slash something slash, and then something else has to be dynamic. And this also has to be dynamic because we're calling it on object. So we could say like, we'll have to make all this dynamic. Another thing is we're not using ERB anymore because we're inside of a regular Ruby string. We're no longer in ERB. We're like in a controller. Controllers don't know about ERB. We could put it in a template and read it and do the ERB binding thing, but that's crazy for a small string like this. So given those problems, let's see if we can solve them like one at a time. So we're gonna say that this is I'm gonna say this is like the resource, I don't know, resource root. I'm bad at naming things. Yeah, they say there are two hard things in programming: naming things, caching, and off by one errors. Too late for that joke? Okay. Womp womp. There were three things. There were two. No? Okay. What was that?
No, the recordings. We're gonna get them.
Yeah, when you watch the recording, it'll be hilarious. I don't get it. Is that a joke? All right, so what do we do? So object is an object. We can ask the object's class what it is, and we can ask the class what its name is. That just takes the class name and gives you a string back. So if this is a song object, what's this going to give me back? Song as a string, right? So we'll do like dot down case. It's nice spell down case, and not just plus the letter S because we're being lazy right now. But this is not actually completely honest with the yeah, I know. We're going to do like / plus, so it looks like / the name of the class plus the letter S. So this is the resource URL. And then we'll say that the slug is, if we say something like object, that's probably not that bad, object.slug, we're expecting it to respond to slug. And the name is going to be object.name. So these are all like the strings that we have. So like I said, we have to switch over to like Ruby interpolation, regular interpolation. I'm going to use this % curly brace to make a string, just so I can use quotes freely. % curly brace is another way of making strings, like a here doc or something like that. The cool thing is that it's like a double quoted string in that it lets you do interpolation. All right, let's interpolate. So here we'll say resource URL. Here we won't say song.slug, we'll just say interpolate slug. And here we won't say use Ruby interpolation, use regular interpolation, and say that name. And if we did this right, the test should still pass because we're not using, we're calling this method, it's a helper, it's available everywhere. Oh my God, please work. Cool, it worked. Hurrah. Not bad. All right, this is the craziest part, I think.
What's your index look like?
Beside him for song.
Or you didn't change class.
Yeah, the rest of it's still there. Okay, cool. So then index show. So what does this do? What do you want? So they want a. Actually, I remember I did this a little different in my when I practiced this a little bit. I don't want a list item for. I just want a link for. And I'm gonna have the caller, because this makes it more flexible. Some things are list items, some things are just links, right? Because for instance, this is songs. It contains all the list of songs. What? Contains links to each song on the show page. Let me follow my hunch. This is late. I'm going to say that this is going to return just the link portion. Just the link portion, and then we'll surround whatever it returns with an li. You guys are really going to love that joke later. You're welcome. Okay, so now we got to figure out why this isn't working. So for instance, right now, it's looking for something that has the link here on this page to the songs, and we should be creating them, which means that there's a difference between what I think is true and what is actually true, which I hate it when that happens, because I always like to be right, and this challenges that. So on line 35 of spec number 4, what I'll do is I'll use the outputs, put a good old friend puts. I'm just going to print out whatever page.body is. So page is an object yield with capybara. Page.body is the text of the HTML. So if you scroll up, I want to see what is getting generated. And look, it looks like 2 slashes are being generated, not 1. That is unfortunate. So let's see why the hell that happened. Well, it happened because in my application controller, I put a slash, but then here I also put a slash. So if I get rid of that, and I run the test again, we should be 1 test further. Hurrah! Everyone cheered for him. Displays a list of artists. Okay, so now we're on to the artists test, which is wonderful. We'll just copy paste that. And if we go to the artists index page, we're going to say that. So if you remember, in the controllers, for all of them, I set up the instance variables, so at artist, at genres, at songs, to kind of make it faster. So I'm going to use them inside of the views, but because I know that they're there. So instead of songs, I'm going to say artists. So make a link for artist. This should pass, no problem. Flying colors even, that gets us past some. And now it displays a list of genres, same deal. Genres, index, pasta. Genre. Pasta. Winning. Okay, cool. So now if you go to songs slug, you're supposed to get a 200, but right now you do not because you don't have that route. So we'll make a route here, not def, get. And if someone goes to slug, we'll do something. So what we want to do is say, like, the song is the result of saying songs dot find by slug. Param slug, meaning from the parameters, grab the slug and find me the thing that has that value of the slug. And then what I'll do is I will herb a songs show action. And this will just render nothing, but we'll get our 200 at the very least. Cool. So we should have gotten our 200. Oh no! Oh man, oh man, that error is the worst. What happened?
Is it songs that find by select? Or do you want songs?
Yeah. Oh man, programming sucks. That's what it is. Just there it is. Cool. So it has content person with a face. So I'm guessing it shows basic information of the song's artist. So in the show for this, we will say, let's just put the @song.name. Do that. We'll say like by, not body, but by. It's okay. I know what I mean. That's not what I meant. That either. And then we'll say by @song.artist.name, right? Because this is the artist's name. The song has an artist. We can say song.artist.name. Refresh, or run again rather. 12. Next one. It says it shows the song's genres. So we can do that. We say like genres include UL @song.artist. genres dot each do genre. And I'm guessing they want links as well, so we'll say link for genre. And that should get us a few. Cool. So then this one is in contains a link to the artist's show page. Cool. So now I'm happy that I didn't make this too much of a, I didn't make it link specific. Because what I want to do here is I want to make a link for, and I want to pass in the song.artist. So give me a link for the artist. All right, this will grab the artist, call its name, and then make a link based on the helper that we created. If I would have kept it specific to LIs, then I would have had to like tease it out at this point. But since it's just links, I can do things with the links. It's just like one chunk of thing, one chunk of code. All right, cool. We are moving artists now. So artists show. So let me do something really quick. Let me just make this generic code available in all the controllers, so we don't have to write it a bunch of times. I find that like writing a bunch of the boilerplate over like in one shot makes it easier for my brain. I don't know why, but so this is the genre, genres. This one has it, so we'll just change this to be artist. And we should get 200s. We shouldn't have to get that non-200. What we'll get now is that we're missing that the templates don't work the way we want them to. Displays an artist's songs. So inside of the artist show page, we'll say songs for at artist.name ul. Whew, man. Artist.song, each do, song, li, use a little helper, link for song. And then our end here. That should get us pretty far along. Oh no. What happened? What did I do? You want to see it? All right, I don't see it. So let's go to binding.pry here. So I'm going to set this variable first. That shouldn't be a problem. First, I'm going to face. And if I call artists show, it gives me undefined method song for artist. Okay, so I must have done something wrong in my template. Yeah. There you go. That's better than the undefined method join, right? It's a miserable error. So there's that. That's passing wonderfully. Has content new are garbage, so we have to show the genres in show. So we'll just do this. Don't do this on a job. Okay, it passes all the tests. Genre. So artist.genres, artist.genre, make links for genre. Do that. Cool, 21 failures. And then now we're in genres, the genre slug. Getting close, guys, we're getting close. I think. Cool, so we'll say, what is the name? It shows the genres artist. So we'll say ul. Remember we set this up in the controller earlier, so at genre dot artists dot each do artist we'll say for that should get us something. 22 got us one whole test. And then it displays the genre songs. Same sort of deal as before. Command D too much. Okay, that passed a bunch. And now, finally, we're in the form. All right, if you're following, I should have told you guys to take a nap until this part. Shit's about to get real. All right, I might blow your minds at some point. Like, not even metaprogramming wise, just like forms are beautiful. Like a nested form properly done is amazing. So brace yourselves. That's what I'm saying. That's right. So it looks like we say. Actually, let me look at how many more tests do we have? Oh, not bad. 6 more tests. And it finishes up with checking your checkbox, checkboxes, artist name. Okay. I recall there being more. No, because it's not feature specs. Let's run all the tests. All of them. That one took longer. 48. What? Oh, right. Okay, there's 48, including the models. We finished the models. Okay, yeah, we can finish up. I was thinking that like it was cruel and unusual punishment to keep you this late, but I think we'll be done in like 15 minutes, hopefully. So first things first, songs controller. Let's make a method called get new. And remember, I made this mistake earlier. I put it beneath slug, and it messed me up. I was like, why doesn't this work? Because precedence. We said that this route is going to be read first. All this thing does is present to the user a template called songs new. And for now, I'm just going to make a request called like post. Post. If they post to /songs, return me this, and put a binding.pry. Because we're going to want to look at the params a lot to make sure the params work the way we want them to. So now we have to make a template in songs called songs new. .erb, and I'm gonna make a form. Let's do it. Let's make a form, guys. I think it's time. I've never tried that. /songs. Yeah, but. All right, let's make it pretty. So we say like make a div, no class. We're not classy in here. We'll say like label. So this is going to have a label, and it's going to have an input of type text.
What plugin do you use to make it auto?
I type really fast. It's one called Emmet. So if you get if you get Emmet, it'll change your life for HTML. Now they're moving into like HTML world, and like when you go into projects, like this is get Emmet. Like if you don't have it yet, you're probably still using Sublime. I can't help you anymore. So my smear campaign against Sublime continues. So the input type text, and this is keep pressing enter. Let's press tab. And this is going to be an input for the name of the artist. I'm going to look at the test because the test has like specific names that it wants and labels, and we'll talk about connecting labels and stuff. We talked about it when we talked about forms, but I like talking about it, so I'll talk about it again. We're going to need, when it says fill in name, this might seem a little weird, but you have to connect. It's going to look for a label that has, that is for the field of name, and then it's going to try to find the input that's associated with that label. So the question you ask is, how does it know what's what? So we'll say, if you look at something that has like song name, like song, this is the label for song name, and we give it a matching ID, song name, then I've connected these two fields, meaning that if I say something like just name, like if I click on name, it'll select the right field. In fact, I can show you this. So if we say rack up, that's going to blow up partially. What happened? Ugh, you're the worst, Ruby. Although, exec, rack up. And we'll go to songs /new so we can see the form. And the cool thing is if I go, it selects the field for me, right? That's by hooking up the label for to the ID of an input field. It links it to. So we've been doing bundle exec for everything, and it's because like the version in the gemfile.lock, which actually specifies exactly what version to use, is older than the version that's on my computer as the default rackup executable. Yeah. Yeah, so anything that's in like anything that you're calling, because it's in the gem file, is it has to match the version, or otherwise it makes you run bundle exec. So this is what Capybara is using. You call on the label, it selects the input field. So that's all you need to connect it to. We know that names are important, so like we're gonna nest everything inside of song. There's gonna be song name. What else do you want? We're gonna say check new age garbage, which means we're gonna have to say we're gonna have checkboxes. And for checkboxes, I always have to go to the internet because I always forget how to make an HTML checkbox. Yeah, probably. Let me see my plugin notes. So if I say input, sweet. All right, I guess that's it. I'm sorry. Well, I should pause and be like, get this right now in your life. Look at that. Watch the demo. That you don't get that with Emmett. That's just the site. Do it. Go. Come on. Do it. Hurry up. Boom. Magic. So Emmett's magic. Get magic. If you don't have Emmett yet, then I can't help you. All right, cool. So name, value, the same thing sort of like applies. And it looks like the same rules of like labels also apply. So if we say like label for, and then we have to tie these together by ID. So let's see. For checkboxes, the value, much like anything else, is the value that's going to get submitted if the thing is checked. So we'll say value equals. So if someone checks one of these checkboxes, I want it to be that it sends the ID of the genre that they checked. All right, so think about the things we want to communicate with this. We want to say, if someone clicks on a checkbox, then that means they want this genre. I don't need the genre name, I don't need the genre anything. I really just care about the ID, right? Like at the very least, with the ID, I can do my associations on the server. So let's start writing a loop, because loops are great. So we'll say in the controller for this, in the new action, I'm going to say, I'm actually going to load a variable called genres. That's all the genres. Because I need all the genres so I can kind of show them in the checkbox. And I want to say at genres dot each do genre. And I'll make a checkbox for each of these things. So I'm going to like swap out these parts of this dynamically. So genre has a name. That's pretty easy. We can just say like genre.name. All right, that'll be the name of the genre. We need a way to tie these together, and they have to be compliant with like CSS and yeah, they can't have any spaces. They can't have any like weird characters. Dashes are okay. So what I'm going to use here actually is the slug version of the name. So I'll say genre. I'll do genre.slug. Right, because the genre is kind of compliant with an ID in CSS. If you don't know, well, now you know. And then the value in here, baby, will be the ID of the genre. So if you check this, I want you to submit the genre to me. Right? If you check it, I want the genre. If you don't, I don't. There's actually a really weird thing about checkboxes. I sent it out earlier, but if you check a checkbox and you press submit, it sends that you checked a checkbox. If you have a checkbox checked and you unselect it, it sends nothing. Which is kind of weird, because then how do you say that I unchecked something? Like, checkboxes are only one way. You click on it, submit, you have checked this box. Uncheck it, like they say, like, would you like to unsubscribe? Uncheck. They won't get that. So you have to do like a hack. You have to have like a hidden field with the same name that will be submitted if you don't check the checkbox. So like, we'd have to say, if we were doing this like properly, we'd have to say something like, input type hidden. And we have to have the same exact name and everything, and it will take advantage of the fact that like you can override parameters. Like that's why we needed that empty box bracket so we could collect an array. If you remember, that's the problem that was solving that. If you have the same name, the second one kind of like overrides the first one. So we're using that hack, which is a nightmare, but whatever. We don't need it yet. I want to do that all. And then the name. So this one, due to time, I'm going to nest it in song, and I'm going to say it's in genre IDs. By just the nature of HTML, checkboxes are automatically going to get collected, right? So if they all have the same name, they all get added to like an array, which is kind of nice. And I think that's enough for the checkboxes, right? We have a label for it based on the name, and then we have the name kind of like sorted properly, and then finally, div that. We're going to fill in artist name, so there's a field called artist name. It's going to look real similar to this, with the exception that so we could do this, artist name, and we'll do this now because I want to make sure, I don't want to go too long without actually like trying out the code. Artist name. Artist name. So we'll do this for now, but there's actually a better solution. Because this way, oh, I need a submit button. You son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Anybody have a guess? Did you see an error in my ways? Let's see. What's the real error? Nothing. Seems to work okay. Maybe I just needed to restart my server. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So then that's all of the genres and everything. And so if we click a couple and we say like the name of the song is
Cheese.
bang, artist name.
Cheeser.
This guy is like a niche. He's definitely going for his market. I don't have a submit button, so I kind of messed it up. But we'll see. We'll make a submit button input of type submit. So we'll have it say create, and then we'll refresh, and then Cheeser will have his day. Get rid of his binding, and get out of here. Cheeser will have its day. Cheese. He's a dance, folk country pop person. Of course, Cheeser. That's right. So do that, and then so I want to look at params, right? Because we just submitted a form. Did it parse properly? So everything is inside of song. That's cool. Name, genre IDs. I actually want to show you something. So if I find the song, so say song dot first, I'll say like x equals song dot first. There's actually a property on them because of the way we did associations. Rails gives you, if you have like a has many relationship, you can get like. So what does song have a has many relationship to? Anybody know? Genres, yeah, you guys are good. So like has many genres. This one has no genres, lucky me, right? But it also gives you another method called genre underscore IDs, right? So genre IDs and genres, like you can either get a list of the IDs or you can get a list of the genre objects. There's something else that's really cool about this. So genre IDs is settable, so I can say like, and now like x.genres has that genre. It's now a dance thing, which is pretty cool. Right? So that's pretty cool, right? So why is that important to us? So if we remember from like what Jeff was talking about earlier, if I pass in a song, so if I say song.new and I say params song, well, the name is going to be assigned to the name of the song. The genre ID is actually going to do the associations for us. So it'll set up the genres that we passed in this array. Actually, I think I fucked something up because it only took one of them. And then it'll break on artist name because there's no artist name equals on this object. So we're close. We got so close. Actually, let's get closer. What I want to do for realsies is in the form. I'm gonna actually do that. It should have been my alarm. Nothing in programming is like for free. I was like, it's just gonna work. It's gonna be fantastic. It's wonderful. You know, code loves me. It's my friend. Code is not my friend.
Added this bracket after artist name.
What was that?
You added the brackets after artist name.
I added the brackets after the checkboxes because the checkbox should be in a collection, right? Like I want to say whatever the ID for dance is, the ID for folk, right? So if I do create, I'm gonna hear my binding not pry, and I'm saying that params looks
Yeah.
Did I? Oh, my bad. Oh yes, I did. Look at that. Thank you. Refresh one more time. Exit. Refresh one more time. Cheese. Hip hop house. And then this guy's going up the ranks. Cool. So now it's in an array. And now if we didn't have artist name, we could say song.create, create a brand new song with the right name, the right genre associations. We still have the problem with like the artist name, right? Because the artist name is actually like associating an artist object. We have to say that we want to accept attributes for like an artist object. We could do something else. We could make like a method that's called artist name and then take the name, create a new artist, and kind of like set it up. But what if I told you Active Record had that built in? That with one line of code, we get that for free. You guys be interested in seeing that? That's something you'd be curious about? Okay, so bear with me for a second. It requires that we do something in our form. So we have to name our form in a specific way. So I want to say, well, first off, in the model, we'll go from the bottom up. So in the model, for a song, I have to say something. I have to say this artist accepts nested attributes for longest method ever, song, rather artist. Meaning that this class can accept attributes for an artist. And what this does is it does actually something similar to the module that we made. It generates some methods for us. Particularly, it generates a method called def attribute, let me see, artist attributes equals. All right, it generates this method for us. Well, what does that mean? How is that useful to us? If we structure our code here to say, well, these are the artist attributes, and say like artist attributes, new, not what I meant. And then we say name, meaning group all of anything that comes under artist attributes name in params properly. What we'll get will shock you. Oh, well, maybe it won't. You guys are tough, built tough in this class. So let's see if, oh God, 500 error, not good. So if I refresh cheese, put cheeser in here. Oh God. Is he doing country pop rap now? All right, so cheese churcher. All right, so our binding not probably hit. And now if our params are fine, meaning that now we have a top level key called song, and we have name, genre IDs, we have artist attributes, and then inside of there we have the attributes for the artist. Cheese terre, maybe. It's a upcoming French artist. Song.new. Let's try it out. So we'll say s equals song.new. We'll say params song, right? Because this is where it's nested. Song. What is the song's artist? Cheese terre. What are the song's genres? All of those. And we say s.save, we're done. That works. So by structuring your params in a way that like Active Record can like receive them easily, you get magic. To me, this is magic, right? Like you write the form in a proper way. You don't have to do any sort of like, okay, make this the artist first and then associate it and save this, build this, and then get the genres, right? This is, okay. Don't worry about it. Everyone else looks terrified. So like I know everyone's trying to hide their fear. Everyone else is afraid too, me included. So let's try this out. Let's actually make this code work, and we'll finish up strong. So we'll say in the controller, we'll say s equals song dot create param song, and then we'll redirect. We'll take you to the page where that has songs slash every time songs slash s.id because we just saved it. And this will break because we don't have a songs. Oh, we do have a song show page, and it has some stuff on it. So it should get us something. So if we do this, exit exclamation point, run all of the tests. So close, guys, so close. Create a new song without an existing artist. What? All right, so this is on, click on create. Okay, well, let's try it. I think it might have to do in my, is it here? Internal server error, it's not good. Okay, so that worked. So okay, so what does this mean? We were able to submit the form. S is an instance of that. We have an ID, and then if we redirect to songs, oh, because it's not ID, people, it is? Huh? Slug, yes. We don't have redirect to IDs in this app. Slug. Whew. What was that? Are we good? Okay, good. The last and final test is going to cover a brand new topic which we haven't covered. We'll cover this more in Rails. It's the concept of a flash. So a flash message is one of those things that you see like, thank you for your purchase, and if you refresh, it's kind of gone. It's called a flash because it's like a flash in the pan. Like it's the result of an action that is temporary. It's temporal, right? So as you continue using the site, it won't like keep showing up every time, right? Thank you for your purchase should not follow you around for a week. I mean, they're grateful, but not that grateful. Take it easy, right? Beasted for my business. So this concept is called a flash, and it's important to remember when Josh and I were playing HTTP server and client, if you remember that. The idea of like this redirect that I was talking about, that like a redirect is really me giving you instructions to ask me for something specific, right? So Brian will be my client. Let me throw something actually. I'll throw. No, I'm joking. No, because I can't catch. That's the problem. So you throw it at me and it'll hit my face and I'll bleed. Gentleman. So the idea is that I send you a request to ask me for something specific, right? And in there lies a problem, right? Because if you ask me for something and I like keep track of the transaction that we just had, I can just load an instance variable and then give you a page that has the data. Thank you for your purchase, right? You just did a purchase, set an instance variable, send it down to you. But the way that the web works, the web is stateless, right? We don't know our user. Like you ask me for something, and it's like the first time I ever saw you. I'm like, hey, you want to see shoes? Awesome, here are shoes. So we had to figure out a way to like solve this problem where like I'm going to do a redirect, which is again 2 requests. You send me a form, and I'm like, okay, ask me for the detail page for item number 7. And you're like, give me the detail page for item number 7. When you send me this second request, literally, my server is so stupid it doesn't realize that we just spoke and you just created that item. So we have to figure out a way to like make things like kind of like stay between us for 1 extra request, and that thing is called the flash. Because it's here and then it's gone right away. Right? It's just here, like flash in the pan. That's sort of why they call it that. So again, just know that the reason we need it is because once you're asking me for the next page, I forgot what we just did, right? Like unless you're keeping track of some stuff, we're kind of screwed. So there's this thing called the Flash. There's a plugin called Sinatra Flash, and let me see. We'll do this. We'll add Sinatra Flash to the gem file. You have to require it differently than the name of the gem. So if you remember that hack from the gem file, we have to say something like gem this thing and require Sinatra Flash. And this includes the gem. And then we have to do one more thing. Inside of our Sinatra app, we have to do this enable sessions and then register Sinatra Flash. Register is just like, it's kind of like Sinatra's way of using middleware, like add this plugin. So do this in our application controller. enable sessions, register Sinatra Flash, and now we have Flash. Do I? Yeah. Cool. So let's run the bundle command, and that gets us bundly. And then now what we want to do is we get access to this object called Flash. And again, it exists for two requests. You ask me for something, and I'm literally setting a cookie on your computer that will be unchecked the next time you ask me for a page. So I'll say, Ryan, thank you for your purchase. Ask me for the detail page for this item and hold on to this. He's like, okay, weirdo. So he sends me a request, and with it, he sends to me the thing that I gave him. Right? The web is shitty. Again, there's no connect. He's literally like, hold this, and the next time you ask me for something, send this too. You're like, okay. You send me the cookie information, I use that to populate your page. It's crazy. Again, we'll talk more about it when we do it in Rails. Like, it's a really popular pattern when we do Rails and Flash messages and notices and stuff like that. Or you can do some research, because there's tons of writing on it. So the way it works is we can treat it like a hash. So we'll say, we're setting it right now inside of our song controller. And before we redirect, we're going to say flash notice. And I want to set this notice to be something specific because the test asks for it. It says successfully created, song successfully created. Where the hell are we at? Song successfully created. And then we have to take this flash. The flash doesn't just appear on the page, right? It's markup. So we have to put it in HTML somewhere. I'm going to put it in the layout and say something like, well, I'll just interpolate it. It doesn't have to look pretty. Flash notice. If it's not set, it's nil, so it doesn't show up on the page. And if it is set, it shows what's set up on what's on the page. And by doing that, we run bundle for some reason, and then we run the tests, and we should be green. Oh God. What happened?
I think.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're supposed to be getting different messages depending on what it is. Because what you just have pasted a minute ago
Yeah.
was updated.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so there's going to be like an update action. Song successfully, so let's do created. And then, are we feeling fast? How many more do we have left? How do we still have 6 failures? We worked so hard. Creates a song and artist with associated item. Successfully created
I think
song.
it's just the strings.
Yeah, I think.
Like literally, yeah, it's just a little bit wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Perhaps. Yeah.
Oh, where the fuck did I grab that from? Bug. Okay, 4. Let me see. Edit changes the song. So I think I'm gonna call it here. We've been here for a long time. So the edit is going to be the same thing. Like you have an edit. The only difference to the form would be that we are, instead of just setting, we'll have like a value here, like a value property here that will have the value of the existing song. The URL will be different. But that form will be exactly the same, with the exception that one says like update. And, oh, fuck it, I can't. I'm sorry.
Copy pasta with just update.
Yeah, no. Oh, we'll do it. All right.
Just do it. We've come this far.
Yeah.
It's like,
All right. All right. So if we go to the songs controller, and I know, hang tight, guys. We'll do this. Edit. We find the song, and then we show edit. So in edit, we're going to all these fields are going to have the value of the previous song. So we'll say value equals at song dot name. This will be the same. we can figure something out with the checkboxes later, because here for the checkboxes we'll have to have some conditional logic to say have the value checked if the value of the genres of the songs includes the current genre we're iterating over. But let's see if the test let me get away with not having to solve that problem right now.
You can't set an on a checkbox.
You can. So you can say checked equals checked, but we have to write a conditional to say like, if the genre is included in this specific song's genres, then check it. Meaning like, when you come to it, like I want to uncheck it. But song.artist.name. Let's see what this looks like. Shotgun. Refresh. Yeah, sure. Create the song. Cheesy deasy. Let's see. Edit. Is this looking alright? Oh no. What happened? My favorite error ever. And this one will probably be update. Finish. Binding.pry. ERB songs edit. What happened? Each for no class. What am I calling each? Oh, right, because we didn't set at genres in our songs controller for edit. So you can say genre.all. My God. Whew. This should load. Cool. And then like it has the values. And then if we submit something, we're going to have to use a little bit of, we're going to have to change the form some. So to change the form, just close down a lot of these. So open up the edit form. We're going to have to fake it like it's something else. So input, type hidden. And the name is going to be method. The value is going to be patch, because we're going to patch when we update. And then this is going to hit our controller. Our controller's patch method at this URL, so slug. Which reminds me I have to make sure that this is going to the right place, which is not right now. So it's going to go to songs at song.slug. Okay, so this should go to the right place. And if I go to here, pry, if I update, oh no, that's not going to work. Param should look exactly the same with artist attributes and stuff like that. And we should be pretty close. So let's try running the tests. Two failures, so close. This is not a button save, not a button save. That's fine. What was that? Yeah, no, but there's another failure. But I think I know what it is, so let's anticipate it. So it's going to be this one. There's actually a bit more we can do. So let's actually find the song by slug, and let's do at song.update params song. Do that, and then redirect to the song. And it's not going to be successfully created. It'll probably be something else, which the test will tell me right now. Song successfully updated. And with this, we're one step closer. I think we got only one more failing test. Hey! So that happened. They always remind me, they're like, you know, this lab review is like 8 hours long, right? I'm like, I can finish it quickly. I can't finish it quickly.
You were under 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Only 2 hours. All right, I'm bringing my meta programming back. That shit is hot. I'll do that, and then do that. Run the tests. Now I'm done. Okay, cool. Questions?
Can you slap this stuff?
Yeah. So you should have access to it. Sinatra plays, or else send it on Slack. There's a day off after that.